It was late autumn, and it had been raining on and off for weeks. My partner, my housemates, and I were sitting in the lounge room talking. Apparently, rumour has it that it was the perfect time to go foraging for magic mushrooms in the pine forest, up in the hills southeast of where we lived. We had done some research on which mushrooms to pick and which ones weren't to touch, and the weather conditions were perfect for the certain strains of mushrooms to grow. My partner wanted to take his drone out to the pine forest to get some video footage in the air, so that next Saturday, all four of us went for a drive out to the pine forest. It took about 40 minutes to get to the entrance to the place, but there were acres and acres of these pine forests. Where were we to start looking? We drove up the dirt road for about 15 minutes and we found a good spot deep in the pine acreage. The location had a very faint dirt track that would follow up through the pine trees, so my partner would be there playing with his drone, flying it around in the clearing and getting video footage, while me and my housemates walked off into the forest, going in deeper and deeper, searching for these magic mushrooms. My older housemate told us which ones to look for, but not to touch any of the others. It took a while, but we finally found some. Most of them were growing around tree trunks, stumps, fallen logs, rocks, and low shrubs. They weren't growing out in the open, so we really had to look in the right places. While being out in the forest, it was very quiet. It felt quite eerie in the dark shade cast down by all of the tall pines. There was little to no sunlight reaching the ground either, which made the forest even more spooky. We had been foraging around the forest floor for about an hour, picking what mushrooms we could take home, when all of a sudden it started to get really cold, and it was getting even darker. There was rain coming, so we went and met my partner back near the car. All of a sudden, we hear someone yelling out. We all looked around, but we couldn't see anyone in view. We felt a bit spooked out, so we moved with haste back to the car. When we hear the yelling again, it was weird, because we couldn't make out what was being yelled out. Just as we reached the car and looked back towards the forest, we could see a figure of a man standing in the clearing. He was just standing there, watching us, as we were getting in the car. We pulled out, and I took one last look and noticed the man had disappeared. What the hell? We didn't think any more of it, and we were driving along the dirt road. It was slightly raining now, so we were taking it steady. We had drove for about 5 minutes, when we now see the man again, standing on the side of the pine forest to the side of the road. Once again, he was just standing there, motionless, watching us drive by. Who is this guy? How did he get from there to here so quickly? Did he take a shortcut? If he did, he would have had to have sprinted it. Yeah, but that's just crazy. We made it back to the main road and headed back home. Once we got back home, my partner loaded all the video footage he got on the drone up onto the computer and started watching it. He got a fair bit of footage, flying up, down and around through the trees, taking off and landing the drone in different spots. That's when my partner noticed something on the footage he didn't notice while flying. In the footage, he could see the man in the forest. He wasn't close, but you could just see his face. He was about 20 meters away, walking towards the drone while it was landed, but the drone had taken off again before the guy could reach it. That was a tad scary and unsettling. Getting actual footage of him, and him not just being a figure of our imagination or our memories anymore. We hadn't been back to the pine forest, and I'm not sure what happened with the mushrooms. I think my housemates boiled them up or something, but that's all I knew. I never tried their experiment.